change your mind, if you change your mind.
Heading into the wedding portion of this season, this episode is mostly a Steven and Amethyst episode, which for me personally made me forget a lot of how some of these episodes will play out, but at the same time, I still qualify this as part of the wedding portion of Ruby and Sapphire. After Ruby left Sapphire a note on her leaving, she's extremely depressed to the point that she won't be able to fuse as Garnet without Ruby, so this leads to Steven and Amethyst searching for Ruby. During their search, Amethyst suggests that they should have lunch together by taking a break as well, but this also leads to a conversation between the two that Amethyst is coming clean of what she feels about Rose, all the while Steven is still confused. For me personally, when it comes to Steven's development, this leads to the Epilogue series, which is Steven Universe Future, and when it comes to Amethyst, I'm gonna be truthfully real with you that she is the definition on what we all feel when a character is supposed to be perfect, only to be the total opposite. Even though it may be too common in the real world, this episode really aged because of that. Amethyst clearly cannot stand the idea that Rose did everything, and judging of how she was portrayed in her centered focus episodes, I really understand that her point of view makes it difficult to see the positives when it comes to Rose Quartz, knowing that she realizes that she was Pink Diamond the entire time after Paul told her that. I'm gonna be truthfully real for every time that Amethyst tries to improve when it comes to the way she is in comparison to the other gems, and every time that she's willing to make things right for herself and the other characters, despite what Rose did to her and the other characters, she clearly cares, but every single time she always hides it. And as far as I'm concerned, whenever you think of how she's portrayed in this episode, it sums up a lot that this is way too big for her, and yet she's trying to take it well. And the fact that Steven calls her the most mature out of the other gems, mainly Garnet and Pearl, I really feel like that it demonstrates her character perfectly well in the final seasons of this show, including Future. This episode, when it comes to how it's structured, involving Amethyst's character and the situation about the reveal of Pink Diamond being destroyed by herself, sums up that this show can instantly know what it's doing when it comes to the direction it offers. Granted, when it comes to the later episodes, due to how rushed they are, I really feel like that they could have done much more better if it wasn't rushed like this episode is, because with this episode and the following two episodes, they don't feel rushed. Yes, including the Bismuth return, which I'm gonna get to in the next 2 days. When it comes to Steven telling Amethyst about how mature she is, which leads to the events of the future episode centering around him and Amethyst and his situation, let me be perfectly real with you that this season can instantly make Future good at times, and yet when you even think of how Future could have been much more better, at the very least, just because it didn't got the right direction when it comes to better structure and time and more episodes, I still don't consider Future a terrible show. Trust me when I say this, is that every time I see people criticizing Future, it's literally they're stuck in 2020, and it has nothing to do with the pandemic. It's literally have everything to do with Future. Opinions are opinions, but believe me, at this point, Steven is not even letting out his rage and expressions about what he truly feels about Pink Diamond and Rose. Believe me, it takes time for him to actually rage quit and actually flip out. And it does happen to so many people that it takes years for them to actually rage and feel furious whenever they think about things that they just weren't ready for. And believe me, judging of how that Steven's character has changed in future, it really makes this season's Steven somewhat too early to handle the pain that Rose was Pink Diamond. If you come down to it, people criticizing Steven as a jerk as a problem sums up a lot that the critique centering around the characters from the Loud House in some episodes where they are classified as jerks that make the episode difficult to sit through. And I do mean some episodes, in some occasions, by rooting against them. Believe me, rooting against them isn't literally the answer to everything, and it's honestly a cheap criticism the more I think about it. But this isn't about the Loud House. I'm just providing my point of view on the episode, knowing how these episodes have changed when it comes to the epilogue. As for this episode is for what it is. It's not as good as the last episode, but at the same time, it's just mostly a Steven and Amethyst episode that ties into Amethyst's development, which is why I'm giving it a 7.75 out of 10.